Welcome to episode 265 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Law Sky. It's July 23rd, 1966. Wembley Stadium, England against Argentina. It's a World Cup quarterfinal. England win 1-0. Geoff Hurst scores. But the match is remembered for Antonio Rattín, Argentina's captain, sent off by Rudolf Kreitlein. No red card, no yellow card, no clear shared language, just a referee pointing, a player refusing to go, and football realizing it needed a universal signal. But how did we get here? Start with England. 1966 is the home World Cup. Alf Ramsey has told his country that England will win it. It's bold, maybe arrogant, but by the quarterfinal, England look like a team with a plan. They open with a goalless draw against Uruguay, then beat Mexico 2-0, then France 2-0. No goals conceded. Bobby Moore as captain, Gordon Banks in goal, Jack Charlton and Bobby Moore at the back, Nobby Stiles snapping in midfield, Bobby Charlton as the class, Hurst, Hunt, Peters, Ball. A team without wingers in the old English sense, but with compactness, control, and belief. Argentina arrived from a different football universe. They're not tourists. They beat Spain 2-1, draw 0-0 with West Germany, beat Switzerland 2-0. They are organized, proud, hard, and experienced. Their captain is Antonio Rattín, El Rata, Boca Juniors man, tall, powerful, a defensive midfielder before that role had all its modern language. He had played for Argentina at the 1962 World Cup. He won the Nations Cup with Argentina and Brazil in 1964. And at Boca, he was not just a player, he was a symbol. One club, La Bombonera, leadership, steel. Rattín passed away a few days ago, aged 89, and which gives this episode a different weight. Because outside England, and especially in Argentina, he was never just the man who would not leave Wembley. He was one of Boca's great captains. Now to the match itself. Wembley, 90,000 plus. Rudolf Kreitlein of West Germany is the referee. And from the beginning, the atmosphere is tight. This is physical football in a physical World Cup. The tournament has edge everywhere. In this quarterfinal, 5 players are cautioned. But here's the key point. There are no cards. Referee can caution, referees can send off. That disciplinary power already exists in the laws. But the communication is verbal, gestural, and often unclear. A player may not know whether he has been officially cautioned. A crowd may not know. A manager may not know. And when the referee and the player do not share language, the whole system depends on signals that are not standardized. 35th minute, Rattín is sent off. The official reason later becomes famous. Violence of the tongue, which is a strange phrase in any match. Stranger here because Kreitlein does not speak Spanish or English, and Rattín does not speak German or English. Rattín says he's asking for an interpreter. He points to his captain's armband. He wants to speak as captain. Kreitlein wants him gone. Rattín refuses. And now the match stops being only a match. Rattín stands there, argues, waits. Ken Aston, the English referee supervisor at the tournament, comes onto the field to help get him off. And that does not make the Argentines feel better. In Argentina and across South America, there's already suspicion that European refereeing is protecting European teams. That same day, West Germany are beating Uruguay in another quarterfinal with an English referee. So an English official walking on to remove Argentina's captain at Wembley is not neutral theater. It feels like politics. It takes about 8 minutes to get Rattín off. He sits on the red carpet reserved for the Queen. On the way out, he tweaks the Union Jack corner flag. Years later, he says he regretted that, but in the moment, it becomes part of the image. Tall Argentine captain, police escort, Wembley angry, England offended, Argentina furious. Then the match resumes. Argentina are down to 10. England still have to win it. And they do. 78th minute, Martin Peters crosses. Geoff Hurst heads in. England 1, Argentina 0. Argentina complain about offside. England survive. And final whistle, England are in the semi-final. Then Alf Ramsey makes it worse. He stops George Cohen from swapping shirts with an Argentine opponent. Then he describes the Argentines as animals. That word travels. It hardens the rivalry. In Argentina, the match becomes El Robo del Siglo, the theft of the century. And if you think that sounds like old resentment, remember that Argentina and England have just added another chapter. Argentina eliminated England in the 2026 World Cup semi-final. A 2-1 comeback. Enzo Fernandez, Lautaro Martinez, Messi with 2 assists. Different century, same emotional voltage. But so what? Let's talk about the cards. Rattin's sending off did not create the idea of discipline. Football already had cautions and sendings off. What it created was proof that discipline needed a visible language. The Rattín incident was one problem. Another came from the same match. Jack Charlton later discovered from newspaper reports that he had been cautioned. He had not clearly understood that during the game. So Ken Aston has 2 problems in his head. A player sent off who will not leave, and a player cautioned who doesn't know he has been cautioned. So driving in London after the match, Aston stands at a traffic light. There it dawns on him. Yellow, red. Caution, stop. The idea becomes obvious. Yellow card, you have been cautioned. Red card, you are sent off. The genius is not the color themselves. The genius is that everyone understands them without translation. Spanish, German, English, Portuguese, Italian, Japanese. It doesn't matter. A card is a sentence with no words. The cards are introduced at the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, and from there they become part of football's body language. A referee reaching into the pocket is now one of the sport's most powerful images. And let's also talk about England versus Argentina. The rivalry did not begin only with Rattín. British influence in Argentina's football roots goes back much earlier. Clubs, railways, schools, names and styles. But 1966 gives the rivalry bitterness. Then 1982 gives it geopolitics. The Falkland Islands, or Islas Malvinas. Then 1986 gives it Maradona, hand of God, goal of the century, Argentina 2, England 1. Then 1998 gives it Beckham, Saint-Etienne, Kim Milton-Nielsen as referee. Beckham flicks out at Diego Simeone. Red card. England lose on penalties. And in 2002, Beckham scores the penalty against Argentina and closes his own circle. And then 2026 adds another cut. England ahead, Argentina late. Messi, Enzo, Lautaro. Another English exit after another 1-2 defeat. The rivalry keeps finding ways to be about more than football while still being absolutely about football. And last, Rattín. He deserves more than the English caricature. Yes, Wembley made him famous globally, but in Argentina he was already significant. Boca Juniors, 14 years, hundreds of matches, titles, captaincy, a hard-tackling defensive midfielder who helped define what the position could be. He later coached. He entered politics. A statue stands at La Bombonera. And now, after his death, the 1966 story should be told with a little more humanity. He was not merely stubborn. He was a captain who believed he had the right to speak. He was also a player inside a system that didn't have the tools to tell him, clearly and universally, you have been cautioned, or you have been dismissed, or this conversation is over. Football fixed the signal. It didn't fix disagreement, and that is important. Cards do not make referees right. They make the referee's decision visible. They turn authority into a collar, and that changed the game forever. Before we go, 3 things to take away from July 23rd, 1966. First, England 1, Argentina 0 was not only a World Cup quarterfinal, it was the beginning of the modern emotional rivalry between the 2 national teams. Second, Rattín's red card was not actually a red card, it was a verbal sending off in a multilingual match, and the confusion exposed a serious flaw in football communication. Third, yellow and red cards are a brilliant piece of design, simple, universal, visual, a traffic light solution to a football problem created at Wembley. On this day in 1966, England beat Argentina 1-0. Geoff Hurst scored, Antonio Rattín was sent off, and from one chaotic argument, football found the colours it still uses to control the game. That is all for episode 265 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. OTD will get in front of many more people if you rate it 5 stars or share it with your friends. I can see it in the stats on my end. It really works. So thank you for doing that. Tomorrow we go to July 24, 2000. Luis Figo, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the impossible move. See you then.